it's Ella here. Spring is right around the corner and that means market season is coming up. So I thought now would be a great time to do like a market series. I started vending back in 2021 and now I have probably over 1,000 vending hours under my belt and I only have one market related video. So I have a lot to share with you, probably enough to make a whole movie. So that's why I figured it'd be great to like break this down into a little market series. So we're gonna start off with this video talking about everything that you need to get started with market in terms of equipment. So like your booth, outside your booth, everything you need to prepare for your first market. Then in our next video, we will talk about inside the booth where I will go more in depth about display options and how to set up your booth nicely to display your products. Afterwards, we will talk about my experience, the lessons that I've learned, and any advice that I have for you. So before we begin, let me just introduce myself and my business. So I am Ella and I am the artist, maker, creator, everything here at Ellaful. My business primarily focuses on jewelry and home decor. I started vending back in 2021 and I did about 8 markets for the whole year, mostly local ones, and for the last 2 years I have been traveling a little bit more and doing larger city markets. For the last 2 holiday seasons I participated in Christmas Village in Philadelphia, which is a 30-day long market, 30 days straight. And I was personally vending there myself with my boyfriend. I've learned a lot throughout all this time. So yeah, let's jump right into this video where I will share with you all of the equipments that you need to get started on your first market. I will also include the cost of everything so you can see the full picture of how much it is to get started with vending. Now this is all just based on my experience and what I need, and I primarily do outdoor markets where I am just given a spot and that's it. I bring everything myself. So I did have to buy a lot of things because I was starting from zero. So for the first thing you need is a tent. When I started out, I just got a tent at Walmart. It was not fancy. It was the cheapest tent I could find and it lasted me like probably at least 10 events. So I thought it was worth it starting out. Most events give you a 10 by 10 spot, so that was the tent that I got. Some events have different spot sizes. Like for my New York ones, it's 8 by 8, so I had to get another tent for that. But typically it is 10 by 10. Double check with your event organizer if you're unsure, but yeah. For the tent, I started off with a 10 by 10 Walmart tent and it was $60 at the time, and I think last I checked it was like 80 now, but when I got it, it was 4 years ago. I have upgraded because I am doing more events in the city locations. They require like specific brands. The current tent I have is I think the Air Max and it's like $200. So you really don't have to spend that much at first if it's not needed. My personal experience is that the budget one worked just fine and it was great to get me started. Now it was a little flimsy and I had a storm or two that I had to hold it down, but honestly for that price I thought it was okay. And then with the tents you need weights. Weights are pretty expensive. For me, I first got sandbags. Literally the morning before my very first market, I stopped by Home Depot, picked up like 8 sandbags. I think they were like 50 pounds each. We put 2 on each leg. It was probably a little much, but better safe than sorry. So that costed us about $40 for the weights. I've seen a lot of people get really creative with the weights though, like gallons of water jugs, concrete filled PVC pipes, or just like concrete filled a whole 5-gallon bucket and they just tie it down like that. I don't know the price of those, but if that's something that you have on hand or could DIY, maybe you could save some money there. Now I have upgraded to professional looking tent weights. They were very expensive and they just interlock and stack on top of each other to hold the tent legs down. Again, it is because I do a lot of markets in New York City and Philly. A lot of these markets want more professional looking booths, and so in a sense I was kind of forced to upgrade, but it's not like I've upgraded and just used it once or twice. So I'm still getting my money's worth for just buying it once. And just a note, a lot of these were just one-time purchases for me. So if you feel like you're gonna do this for a long time, you could just start off buying nice things. But yeah, the sandbags are my budget option and I was able to use them. So that was what I got starting out for weights. Next is the tables. For my first market, I got 3 tables and I laid everything out. And that is not something I would suggest you do. We'll talk more about the displays in the next video, but I do want to mention that just a piece of advice when you're setting up your products or when you're thinking about how you want to set up your booth, you should go vertical first before you get more tables and go horizontal. So this is what my first booth looked like. At the time, I was very proud of it. I was out there and I was vending. But looking back at it, it was not a nice display. I mean, this is my booth now. So yeah, for that first market, I really didn't need 3 tables. Once I started adding height to my displays and playing around with that, I actually ditched one of the tables for some events because it just felt extra. And so I would say for the tables, start off with one, do a mock setup and then see how you like it. So now for the price of it, one 6-feet table is about $60. I have not bought new tables since. So I'm using the same tables that I got 4 years ago. Well, I did get new tables because I was doing a different setup, but all of the tables that I got originally are still functional and I still use them. Now on top of the tables, you would probably like some tablecloth. I get mine on Amazon and they were like 2 packs for 20 bucks, and I had to get 4 feet and 6 feet because those were the size of my tables, but just get what you need. And when it comes to the tablecloths, you can get ones that are like very tightly fitted that stretch or ones that are loosely fitted. I will attach pictures so you can see, but these are the ones that I have, and they cover the entire table and they fit very nicely. And then on top of the tablecloth, you might want something with your brand on it. I got a table runner off Etsy and it was like $40. I got it custom printed with my logo and my socials. For a long time, I did not have this. I literally got this 2 years ago and it actually looks a lot more professional. I feel like a brand. Sometimes people will just take a picture of it from afar. When I didn't have this, they would look around for signs and I didn't have anything, so they just walk away. But now sometimes they will take pictures. Hopefully they came back. I don't know if it increased my sales at all or anything, but I do know people look at it and people are more aware of my brand, hopefully. So yeah, I do suggest a table runner if that's something within your budget, just so it brings a little bit more awareness to your brand. The next thing you need is a card reader. This is not even something you need to think about, just get a card reader. Because like 99% of my sales are card. Everyone just taps to pay nowadays. I personally pay with card myself just because it's convenient. And so from that perspective, we want everything to be convenient for the customer. So the card reader that I have is Shopify's Tap and Chip Reader, and I got it with the dock because I just thought it would look a little bit more professional, and it's like weighted down. I chose the Shopify one because I have my website on Shopify, so for me everything is all in one place. I know a lot of people use Square too, and I think that is a little cheaper, but I'm not too sure. So you can take a look at all the different options and compare prices, but I would say definitely have a card reader. Now, even though 99% of my customers pay with card, I do still carry cash with me for those who prefer to pay with cash. I typically get like 100 and change between 1s, 5s, and 10s. I use a bag that I already have to carry my cash. Some people have aprons with the pockets to help carry their cash. I've seen a lot of people have fanny packs too. You definitely want to have something to keep your cash on you. You can also do a cash box, but I've gotten one and I just didn't like that it was a box somewhere on the table or something, I do like having my cash on me. I think it's safer that way. I definitely suggest a bag of some sort, and Amazon probably has it for like 10 or 20 if you don't already have one yourself. Now onto signage and marketing. We kind of went over it a little bit with the table runner, but this is more about like the pricing, product descriptions, and business cards and stuff. So starting with the pricing, for my very first market, I did not have any pricing. The first several people had to ask, and then I realized, oh, I gotta do something. And so I just pulled out a paper that I had and I hand wrote everything, all the pricing. And I stuck it right in front of my table, hoping people would see it. No, they didn't, and a lot of people just walked away because I did not have pricing. So it was a 3-day market. My first market was a 3-day market. So after the first day, that night, I went to Walmart and I picked up those little label stickers. I wrote the price on the stickers and I manually stickered every single product. That definitely helped a lot. People didn't have to ask. They knew the price of it. They bought it if they liked it. So definitely have your prices. I have a lot of different products, so for me to do a price list doesn't really make sense because then people have to go to the list and find what they're interested in. So for the most part, I still tag each product, but now I type everything out on Word and then I have the product name, I have the price next to it, I have a short description of what they can do with the product. Then I cut and laminate the sign. So that's how I do the pricing for my products now. I just realized that not everyone will have a printer and a laminator. You can definitely handwrite your sign signs yourself, but I do highly suggest the laminating part because with it laminated, I am able to use it multiple times. I stick them down onto my table every single time with tape. I could use a better system for that, but that's what I do. If my signs were just paper, it would like rip every time, so the laminating really helps. I've also done like the laminating with clear tape. If you don't have a laminator, that's something you could do as well. Whatever your situation is, you definitely need the price. I got a pack of price stickers for $5 or something at Walmart. Do whatever you need to do to make sure that you have the price of your products displayed somewhere, preferably near the product itself. Moving on, business cards. I am a little conflicted with this because I feel like I gave away a lot of business cards, but I don't really see a return in them in terms of online sales. I don't know if people just get it to get my Instagram or maybe in the future. But then again, my online shop needs a lot of work, so I don't really have too many products online because everything is one of a kind. I've had situations where I've sold things in person and then it sells like 20 minutes later online. So maybe the business cards help? I don't know. Sometimes I do run out and I tell people they can take a picture of my table runner if they want to get my information. So that's an option, or QR codes. I keep the business cards because I get business cards and I will use it to look up people. So I'm hoping people do the same. I get my business cards mostly from Vistaprint, and sometimes if I need business cards last minute, I have a Staples nearby. But the cards are a little thinner, so I do prefer the Vistaprint ones. You can start off with like $20 worth of business cards and then get more as you need. Next thing we need to cover is how to transport your products from your house to your booth. I pack a lot of my products in storage bins and they get put under the table. Those bins were maybe like $10 each. Depending on what you're selling, you can get how many you need to carry your products. A lot of people also use crates as displays, and then those same crates can be used as storage to hold your products. I use that for my trays and coasters. I have crates to add some height for my display, and so in those crates I will put my trays and coasters. That also saves space in the car as well. Now for my city events, I need a wagon because I can't unload at my spot. Typically they're at a park. There's like a parking area, unloading area. You will park there, unload there, and then bring the stuff to your booth. You could either carry that one at a time or get a wagon and load it like that. I got a wagon off Amazon and it was like $80. It's definitely very helpful. I still have to make a couple of trips because the wagon is kind of small. Depending on what you need, that might be a good size for you. If you need something bigger, you can look into that. But something to wheel your products from the unloading area to your booth is highly suggested if you are not able to unload at your spot. I got very lucky with this because my local markets, I was able to park at my spot, so I didn't need a wagon for a good 2 years. But I am still using that same wagon, so again, it is one-time purchase. Now let's move on to some things that you can easily overlook. First is a power bank or a portable charger. The last thing you want is for your phone or your card reader to die during a transaction. The next thing is shopping bags. When I first started, I did not have shopping bags. I just ended people their purchase and that was it. Now that I think about it, it was fine starting out because I mostly sold earrings. Now I sell a lot of my homewares, so I can't really just give them their coasters or their trays and call it a day. So I got shopping bags shortly after. I get a pack of 100 for $30 off Amazon. That was the only place that I could find that allowed me to get such small quantity. Other places require you to get 1,000 or something for a good price, so that's why I get it off Amazon. I started adding my own stickers to them too, so if you can do like some kind of branding for your bags, like stamping your logo on it or adding a sticker like me, I think that is just a little extra to the branding. Again, not really needed, but suggested. And then the little things that we tend to forget are tape, scissors, zip ties, pen, and like a notepad just to write things down, and water and snacks. You definitely want to stay hydrated and you want to have some snacks on you. Vending is very tiring and you do need a little bit of energy throughout the day too. Like a granola bar would be really helpful and you can just have a bite here and there. So definitely don't forget your snacks and drinks. You can also get food at the event, but usually there are really long lines and it is a little bit pricey, especially if you have like a multiple day market. So like for my 3-day markets, for one of the days I will get food at the other vendors just to support them, but also bring my own food because they are typically long days. If I did get food every day, it will add up really quick. So yeah, I think that's about it for everything that you need to get started for your first market. I'm gonna go through the whole list again, put it in a chart with the cost of the equipment. That way you can see like the full picture and get an estimate of how much you need to get started with your first market. First, we have the tent, which was about $80 for me. We're gonna count one table, which is $60, then a tablecloth, which is $20 for me. The table runner was $40. We have sandbags, which was $40 for me. My card reader and dock was $90. My price stickers and stuff were $5. The storage bins were $10 each. And if you need a wagon, that's $80. The business card will say $30. Shopping bags will be $30. And then any miscellaneous items that you might need, so we'll just estimate that to be like $20. So this is just an estimation of what you need to get started with your first market. One thing I need to note is that this does not include the booth fee, any travel fees, hotel fees, whatever you need to get to your first market. That varies widely for everyone. My local markets is like $50 a weekend versus the city markets go for like $300 a day. So that is something you need to include in your own cost depending on your market. If you think there's anything that I missed, feel free to leave it in the comments below. It's been a long time since my first market, so I definitely did not start off with everything that I have listed. And while it was a little bit inconvenient, I still made it work, so you definitely could make it work not having the entire list. So yeah, I think that concludes this video. I will include the link of everything that I purchased in the description, so you can check those out if you are interested. I will also include what I use now. And if you have any questions before vending your first market, let me know in the comments and I would be happy to answer that. In the next video of this series, we will focus on inside the booth and I'll go over how you can display your products nicely and give you different display ideas. And so yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe so then you'll know when the next video comes out. I'll see you next time.